Okay, so this is the first video for my new channel, Wine One, and no, it has nothing whatsoever to do with racism. That's just how I like my coffee. 1 sugar and a touch of milk, so Wine One. So anybody currently living in England will recognise this as a Swiss Army knife. You know, they're pretty ubiquitous. And this is the one that I've been carrying for years. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick it up, but this blade's had the thumb put on it. But it's still razor sharp, and if you get this out in public to, I don't know, open a package or cut some food, any utilitarian task, most people won't be intimidated by this because they recognise it as a pocket knife. A pen knife, essentially, is what they're called in England. As you can see, there's no clip, just rides in the pocket. There is a lanyard, but I never use them. I'm actually quite sad I've got a belt pouch for all my Swiss Army knives. And that's the Climber model, standard screwdrivers, but it's got a pair of scissors on it as well, which is mostly why I carry that knife. But let's look at some other EDC options. Now this is the Kershaw Mini Mojito or Mojo, as Kershaw variously calls it. On the website it's listed as the Mojito, but actually on the box when it came it said Mini Mojo. So you know, you might see it listed as either. And as you saw, it was a assisted opener, one-handed. But that blade shape just freaks people out because it looks mean, it looks like the business, but when you stack it up against the Victorinox Climber, the blade's actually shorter, but because of that recurve, that severe recurve, people are intimidated by it. Now I normally carry at least 2 knives with me, just in EDC, always a Swiss Army knife, just for the utilitarian practical value of it, like I say, screwdrivers and tweezers, toothpick, pair of scissors on this particular model. But then I always carry a knife just for cutting things, and this is one of my EDC choices. But like I say, if you actually get this out, people are very wary of it because it's an assisted opener and because of that wicked recurve, but the blade's actually shorter. And then one of my other favourite EDCs is the Kershaw Scallion. This happens to be the black polyamide handle version, but again, shorter blade shape, blade length rather, but because of that recurve and the assisted opening, people are intimidated by it. Now why should that be? It's got a shorter blade and it's got less practical value than the Victorinox. You know, all this thing does is cuts, and that's maybe why people don't like it, because this thing is intended to do a variety of tasks, but these two, they're just for cutting things. That is the only function that they serve. And then we come to my all-time favourite EDC, SOG Flash 2, Flash 1 this is, the little baby one. Awesome. But again, shorter blade length than the Climber. These have all got under 3-inch blades, which is what the legal limit is for public place carry in England. And I think the rest of the United Kingdom, I'm not quite sure, I'm not up on Scottish or Welsh law. I'm going to Scotland later this year, but because I'm flying there I won't be able to carry any knife, which, you know, I'm not looking forward to. I've been carrying this knife for I think about 7 years now, which is why the blades had such thump on it, and so I'm not looking forward to not having any knife whatsoever. I suppose I could buy one while I was there, but then dump it when I fly back, but that seems to be a bit extreme. Excuse me. This is probably the most socially acceptable knife after the Victorinox, just because, you know, it's got a silver blade and it's not too wide. You know, it looks like a utility knife. But like I said, the blade length is shorter than the Victorinox. I don't know if we're going to be able to stack them up on top of each other. It's probably, what, 1/8 of an inch shorter. Let's quickly run through the weights of these. Now, the Mojito weighs in at 80 grams. That's 2.82 ounces. The Climber, this is the heaviest, 81 grams, 2.86 ounces. This particular scallion is 69 grams, or 2.34 ounces. Now, which is very misleading because Kershaw's own website says 2.3 ounces, but as far as I'm aware, this is the lightest scallion they do. I have actually got another one. It's been EDC'd at the minute. My modified green scallion. I'll talk about that in a later video, why it's modified. But this thing's heavier because it's got the T6 aluminium slabs. So I don't know where they get 2.3 ounces from. And then the SOG Flash 1, that's lightweight. That's 34 grams or 1.2 ounces. But that's mainly because it's just got an FRN handle, no stainless steel inserts. But for a tiny little knife like this, you don't need them because, you know, you don't really want to be putting much torsional stress through your knife anyway, especially not if you're carrying a screwdriver, which is why I carry the Victorinox, because for those sort of tasks I'll get my Victorinox out. And if I'm going to be cutting something that could damage my blade, that's why I carry the Victorinox as well, because that's why the blade's got such a thump on it, because, you know, if you want to be stabbing something that's not going to yield instantly, then I'm going to be wanting to destroy this blade before one of these. Because although they are EDC utility knives, if it comes down to it and I have to defend my life, then I want a sharp knife. Now, all these knives are razor sharp, shaving sharp. None of them have got factory edges. I'm never satisfied with a factory edge. None of my knives have got factory edges because, to me, they just don't come sharp enough, man. That may change when I get my first bench made. We'll see. But yeah, that was just a quick rundown of the EDC knives that I currently have. I've got more, but I just thought I'd show you a selection and ask the question, why do people get so freaked out by these style of knives, but not this one, even though this has got the longest blade? I don't know. Okay, so this is YM1 signing off.